Okay. And we're going to start on the dollar. And I'm going to just delete everything like I always do on Mondays. I don't usually trade Sunday, Monday. I kind of wait. Sometimes I'll trade a Monday setup, but I usually wait to let a Monday play out and see what it's going to do. And then I get in there and for the rest of the week. So I'm going to just real quick look in all the weekly timeframes on every pair. I'm going to check the weekly really quick just to see if we're at an important level or like what if the price action was important of last week. And you can see, you know, we're at a pretty clean level. So I'm gonna make this supply. So it's really hard to want to buy the dollar at all right now, thinking long term until this breaks, in my opinion. So when I go back down one time frame to the daily, you know, we're coming down pretty good. This is a little weak reversal pattern, but coming off of a weekly supply zone, in my opinion, I feel like the dollar's getting ready to possibly either, I don't know if it's going to drop or if it's going to stop around this area where there was some high demand. So you can see two candles, this candle and this candle have pretty good demand in it. Also down here, there's some high demand. So, you know, the dollar has a couple areas where it could stop and turn around to the upside. As you can see, it's been going up. So we are more or less in an uptrend, but failing to break these highs up here, that's not a good sign. That's like the first sign of a trend reversal. So we could be seeing more downside to the dollar coming up. And, you know, right here, we're kind of sideways. You know, we've been kind of sideways since September 28th, 29th, trying to break these highs, and we haven't yet. So it's in a kind of a, dollar's in kind of a sketchy area, in my opinion. It's not really in the best, I would say, what's the word? Not readable, but this is something that I'm sure some people are looking at from this low to this high, how the dollar's in an area where it could start to go up. But for me, it's just, it hasn't broken this level in so long. I don't really want to look for buys right now. I want to look more for selling opportunities. So for me, I'm probably going to have to wait on the dollar. I see the possibility of this happening, and I even see the possibility of this happening with this liquidity sitting right here, these equal lows. Price could just come in and sweep this and then start to move up. But like I'm just not really feeling the buys. I'm not feeling the buys at all. I don't really, whenever it stops is where I'll put my fib. I'm going to start to look for sells based off of this zone not being able to break. Now, with that being said, since it is in this little, you know, range right here with this little fake out down there, if price comes back down low here, then I'll probably look for buys. You know, if it makes it down all the way here in this area without it coming up here, then I'll probably look for buys. So I'm on something like, you know, come up here, look for sells, or come down here and look for buys. Come down here and look for buys. So since it's just kind of going sideways, right, until something really major happens. Let's look at the euro. Okay, let's go back here real quick. Weekly. Okay, it hasn't broke this level here in a minute. Let me extend this out and see how it looks back here. Pretty strong level. So it hasn't broken that level in a minute. I'm going to make it just a zone. See what it looks like. Okay. And then it did break this pretty strong level. We're on a weekly, so this is pretty strong. See, it did break this a little bit, but it definitely broke this one. So it's in between these two right here. And I'm going to make this one red because it's below it, of course. All right, so it's in between these two major zones. We could probably find some smaller ones on the lower time frame. And we're closer to the bottom. So I'm in favor of the upside just like I'm in favor of the downside for the dollar, I'm more in favor of the upside. Unless these lows get broken, then this is probably going to continue to the downside. None of my indicators are really reading anything because the price is going sideways. So the indicators aren't really going to help much. Just like the dollar, you could take a fib, and it is in an interesting area where it could sell off from and break all these lows, and that would be the extension. Or even up here, price could come and take this liquidity and then make this move to the downside. So if it comes back down into this, I might look for a buying opportunity tomorrow. Let me go to the 1 hour and see how this looks, because this move right here is looking like it was a little fake out to the downside, taking out all these lows and then kind of moving up pretty fast above this high. And so if price does, I'm gonna delete this. If price does come back into, I'm just gonna extend this out right here into this area, then I think I am gonna look for possible buys on the euro, something like that. Back up into these equal highs. So it would be something like this. Like that, like a 4-to-1. So I'll watch for that. If it starts to get there super fast, then I'm gonna wait for rejection before entering. But if it chops there really nice, kind of how it's chopping here, it kind of just starts to turn around to chop, then I'll probably have a limit order waiting for a wick or something. Gotta watch that. Okay, this one is perfect. Extension. Abdul called this trade idea on his live. It was a perfect little hit, but let's see what we got right now. So weekly, I know it's dropping. It's in a little channel, so we can even draw this channel out on the weekly. I swear I used to have these memorized so hardcore. Okay, so it's inside this channel, and last week printed a nice bearish candle. So it's kind of hard to want to go against that. It hasn't gone lower than this in a while, and this is an interesting zone, it looks like. I could even continue to stretch this out on a weekly, and it's a pretty interesting price. So it is a major zone, but with the momentum that it's showing to the downside, we got good volume with it too. I don't know if I'm looking to really go against it. Let's see if it's going to continue on the swing that it made. As you can see, this swing right here, it came up, hit the fibs, and came down to the extension. And then this one did almost the exact same thing. It came up, and it could continue to the downside to these extensions. So, or we could see on lower time frames, we could see this even lower time frame than that, start to correct up into this, another move down, another move up. That's probably what I'm going to end up playing, just because we have, good momentum here, good momentum here. I know we got strong sellers right here, so I would really like for it to stop right here and start to correct down. If it continues up without correcting down, I'm not going to mess with it. But if it does correct down from here, I'm going to look for the buy. So I needed to start to fall now, basically, and not make any more moves up. It can do this, that's fine. But if it kind of does, you know, all this, then that's kind of showing me that it's getting ready to make a move to the downside, and I might look for sells. So I just need to look for this for buys, that for sells. There's this, you know, liquidity sitting right here where the market might even just get up into. That's what I'm going to target for my buys. Okay, interesting. Okay, AU last week printed a very nice reversal candle. Very nice. Let's see here. Just came right into this weekly zone and dropped. So let's make this supply. Came right into it and dropped. Very clean. So it's not necessarily downtrending. Okay, it's just because technically we made like a higher high, a higher low, and a higher high here. So it could just continue to. This could be a higher low again and continue up and make another higher high and break this and make a higher low. It could do that, or we could stay, you know, below and continue down. I can see it really looks bearish, like it's going to continue down, but there's not really any structure downtrend besides maybe if you want to draw that trend line out. It's kind of that 4 hour, and I'm not the biggest trend line trader. 4 hour has a zone right here that it broke through pretty nicely. It did give some big divergence, so here we go. The market, let me see where the EMA is. Okay, it's at the 200. Where's the 50? Okay, it's almost back. It almost came back to the 50 before it corrected back down. We might see this continue to the downside. Let's see, but you can see there was heavy divergence there. I'm not really seeing a good setup. Excuse me. I'm not really seeing a good setup on AU. This kind of came up into the 61.8. It's starting to fall now. I think it's going to continue falling. I just don't really. Maybe if it comes up one more time, that might be a good little area to look to sell. Right now, I think it took off, kind of taken off without me. Okay, check the charts. Nice, very nice. Yeah, I think it's. I think that's a good. At least for now, it is. That's for sure. All right, weekly, real quick on UCHF. Last week showing a little rejection here where some buyers stepped in, you know, buyers stepped in here as well. So that might be something to note. I'm going to go ahead and just mark these wicks off with a demand area. Excuse me. Go on to the daily. Let's see what we're getting. So we had really strong buyers come in here. Then it came back down to retest that area, came in again, kind of came back down into this area to retest, came up again. Now we're back down in here again, but we're failing to break this. There we go. So mark this off. Let's go to 4 hours and see what this is doing. So this has gone a little sideways on us now. A couple of days. Is it going to continue to the downside? It did kind of make this sharp move down, retrace, and it looks like it wants to continue down with these candlesticks. It did come up into the 61.8. You know, I would really look for buys more than anything down here. But if the dollar is going to just sweep these lows, then these lows are going to get swept as well. So it's kind of a iffy situation. If you're in a sell, I would hold it. If you're looking for buys, I would probably wait for manipulation. But with it going sideways like this, it's not really my market. If I see a breakout of it, if I see a breakout to the downside though, that's going to be a little sketchy just because one, there's this bullish divergence telling me that the momentum is getting ready to flip or could possibly flip to the upside. But it also means that if this breaks with some heavy real momentum, that we could be going strong to the downside. So it's kind of just like a 50-50 area. We've been going down for a minute. So I'm kind of leaning towards a breakout to the upside, but I would like to wait for that. I don't really care to catch it at the low is what I'm trying to say. Wow. UJ is just on a roll. Let's go to the weekly real quick. And delete everything. So yeah, it made a big move a couple weeks back. And this is part of this correction that it needed to make after breaking a very significant price level that it hadn't broken in a couple of years. So I'm going to make this the area where I would like to see price come back into. And also if I go from this low to this high, it's not the 61.8, but it's probably the 50%. And in this area, let me see what this price was that didn't. Okay, so we failed to really. Oh, we did. We just barely broke this high with that wick, and now we're starting to drop. So that's interesting. What was this? Look at this very strong level over here. We'll mark this off with these wicks as a supply area. Very strong since 2017. So it might not continue through this. This fibs might not even, it might just start to drop. Regardless, I'm very bearish on it. So it has a kind of a correction pattern look to it. It really does, but I'm not gonna, let's see if this channel kind of works out here. Yeah, it's breaking through the bottom of it right now though, so I'm looking at it like this. And there was this price that it didn't really get below here. It did get below it. So now I'm looking for pullbacks to sell UJ. Got to be a little careful of it. It's a little oversold and a little flat on the momentum though. Momentum's kind of flattening out as price is still dropping, but nonetheless, it just looks so bearish. So I'm going to be looking for shorting opportunities on UJ for sure. I don't really have a price in mind yet. It's still dropping. Maybe when it just looking for pullbacks. Let's see this oscillator. So I'm going to play the 15-minute MACD. I've gone over it, but basically, if you have an RSI, it's the same thing. When it pulls back to this line, that's basically when I'm going to get ready to take a trade. EG from last week was just perfect. And we called this move out. And now we're sitting in a similar area. Let's look at it first. So yeah, got the bullish pattern finally from this price that we've been looking at. So here's one price area, and then here's the other price area in the past. We've been in this area for a while looking for buys, and we finally got this big bullish candle. There has been some divergence. The momentum is pointing, I mean, I know it's pointing down a little bit now, but it's starting to try to push up a little bit. On the daily, it is making higher highs on the RSI. The MACD has broken out, finally broken these highs. So that's a good sign for possible momentum flip to the upside. Now, this is not my favorite thing to see when I'm looking for buys, is when the market is technically making lower lows and it hits a fib and leads a reversal pattern. It's not my favorite thing to see because it could extend down to this other extension. It's definitely a possibility, but I'm going to look for lower time frame buys because I'm thinking the momentum on the lower time frame is starting to flip, as you can see. And so what I'm going to be looking for on EG, which is one of my favorite setups of the week, is this buy right here. So coming back into this price that on a weekly time frame, it doesn't like to close below this. So I'm going to actually bring out some volume and see where we are with that. Okay, yeah, so there's a good amount of volume down in here as well. So that's a good thing to see. So I'm looking for the move, maybe this intraday and then down into this, and then a move to the upside. So you can just see it's a very clean level. Look for buys from here. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. On the lower time frames, I think this is a good area for a sell as well, into the area I'm looking to buy. So I'm going to also, I like EG is one of my favorite pairs, so I'm gonna be looking at this more of a intraday scalp type, high probability scalp. Okay. GJ. Mr. GJ. Weekly on GJ. Real quick with it. Let's not go too long. Okay. Forming a reversal pattern as it came into this supply area that Abdul spoke about. That's interesting. Came right above it and then started to fall pretty good. But you can't deny that we are at the 61.8 right now. There is just a ton of liquidity sitting here though. Just these lows down here, just it's hard to not see that. But with this big momentum, I'm almost in favor of this continuing because we just have such a nice uptrend going since March. Very nice. So it's hard to just want to call a reversal. Now, when you go to lower time frames, that's when, so like if you're an intraday trader, you're kind of bearish on GJ right now, probably. Overall, you know, it's still bullish, but lower time frames is definitely kind of bearish. So I can't not see this swing of momentum down either. So it's kind of, you know, GJ is kind of 50-50 right now. It's in a very bullish overall area, and I'll mark this for the bullish swing fib. And then, you know, this area is a high. I'm going to be playing the sells personally, just because this mark off zone is from a weekly perspective. And if price comes back even anywhere close to that, in my opinion, it's a good opportunity for a sell. And then maybe I'll look for a buy if this can swing down one more time down into this zone. But first, I'm going to be having to look for this sell just because of how strong this is held, you know, in the past, and how strong it just dropped out from right here. This is the biggest swing out of all of them. So I'll be looking for a continuation or a correction, excuse me, and then a continuation down on GJ. And in fact, that means it might be a good look for buys soon. It's got that head and shoulder look to it, but like I said, I'm personally not playing the buys. If I see this move tomorrow, I'll play the buys only if I see this move. Here's my high. If I see, and here's my equal lows. If I see the market break down and then break back above that, if I see that pattern, then I'll look for buys here up to this area. Only if I see that whole shindig, but I'm really looking for sells. Oh, GA, wow. So this was called out very nicely as well. Great job. Okay, let's find another setup on it because I think it's going to continue to go to the upside. Let's go to the weekly really quick. So yeah, we got this kind of stutter on the weekly coming in right here at this price. Got a little stutter coming in. Looks like maybe these lows might have got swept out a little bit, possibly. Let's see on the daily. Yeah, we got to sweep out and we're back above it. So I'm going to go to the 4 hour and see what we got right here. So we had an obvious downtrend. That got broken, retested, and moved up, and price is moving up pretty swiftly. The momentum was really nice here, just breaking straight through. We got a break in the momentum here as well. So that was why I was looking for buys. Now, to catch it going up, we got to go to lower time frames. And we got to be careful right here with this candle. Big bearish candle. So let's go 15 even. Let's see this in actually. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking at my MACD, and when it comes back down and does something like this, like look right here, you see how it made a move up, and then it gave this red little thing, and then it turned back up. Right when it starts to turn back up, that's what I'm going to get in. I'm going to catch another little leg. That's what I'm going to be looking for. So I'm going to wait for this red to turn like that. It's going to pull back a little bit, and then I'm going to get in. And it's going to probably do something like this. Hopefully it retraces down far enough. And wherever it stops, that's where I'll put my foot. EA, uh-oh. That's a good sign, actually. So this is going to reverse soon or correct soon, most likely. We got the reversal pattern setting up pretty clean. We have the divergence setting up real clean on both. Okay. Let's see here. Let's build a case. Let's go to the weekly before we get all crazy with it real quick. Let me just see. Last week was bullish though. Okay. In a very high demand area. Okay, let's bring this out and see how high. Okay, very high. So the sell might be a correction sell. Yes, definitely. Because you can see the momentum starting to flip after this downtrend. Then we get this flipping momentum. We get nice volume. Yeah, nice volume with it. 4 hour flipping that momentum. That's good, but there's definitely divergence. So we're gonna get a correction. Here's the zone right here. Give me some volume. Some down here. There's a lot right here. So let me just make sure that just bring in this much price. Oh, I put that right on the dot. That was money. Okay, good. Let's take that away and take this away. Okay, so yeah, this is a good price to look for this to correct to. Go to the 1 hour and see how much higher is it going to go. So what I'll be looking for on EA, I like that it's going higher. That's great, but I'm going to be waiting for some type of a lower time frame sell setup, just because I'm seeing higher time frame. I'm seeing higher time frame bearish divergence. So I want to see something like this, so I can catch a sell down into here and then look for buys off of this, because I like this push, I like this momentum shift, clear shift in momentum. So I'm gonna wait for this to come back. Whenever this stops, hopefully it stops soon. Might look for a counter trend sell based off of the divergence, but I'm really looking for the buys once it gets down in here. Which means GA, I need them to be similarly timed, you know, so that's good. This gives this time to correct and then continue up. Gold, let's see what gold is talking about real quick. Uh-oh, is gold going to continue to go up? So gold has been, some people draw it like that, some people draw it like that, who knows? Sometimes I just take it, copy and paste it. All right, whatever. It has like this bullish flag look to it in this big uptrend market. Right. Daily, I don't really want to sell against it. I've been saying that this price right here is most likely going to get hit, and it's very close. But it's also lining up really good with this downtrend line. So it could very well do one of these bad boys. If we see this move, if we see this type of move, gold's going to start to really drop, in my opinion. If we see a steal like that. If we don't see a steal, it might start to break out into, you know, above these, and above these. So I'm gonna watch out for this. I don't think there's any play on it right now. If you want to try to buy above these levels, because I don't think it's just going to stop right here. I think it's either going to get above this price, or above this price. It's not just going to stop with all this liquidity right here. But I would like to see how this liquidity got taken out. I would like price to actually come back into that and then go up again if it's going to move up. See that on the 1 hour. It might just come into this one actually. It's a little spike down and then move up. Nonetheless, it has some divergence right now, so it's probably going to correct soon. It's got a good amount of divergence, actually, 3 waves. So this is actually where I would look for some type of correction cell back down to the, oh, that's not the 50. At least back down to the 50 EMA. So 100 pips, at least. But then we're probably going to see a move up soon. So go like this. If gold does make, yeah, just watch out for this, because the three wave pattern has already happened, but this is setting up for a reversal pattern as well. So I'm just personally going to wait for gold to kind of fake people out and then look for sells to ride out to the downside, because it's already kind of made its move up. There's some nice buys that were caught down here earlier, but VIX is looking possible for the upside, but you know how that goes. It's low right now, which is good, and it's in the demand area. It hit the 50. This is too sideways for me to care about these EMAs. There's possibility of the VIX going up, but let's just be clear, these indices are going crazy. So all-time highs, all-time highs, all-time highs. I mean, there's no volume. There's low volume. And there's increasing bearish volume. I think these are getting ready to turn around for a little bit. Am I going to try to trade them yet? Probably not. I need to see a big impulse to the downside before I look for any type of sells. But once I do see that impulse down, then that's when I'm going to look for a sell. All that has happened, the structure needs to break. So waiting for that. This is a beautiful thing to see. 68. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Let's go look at the monthly. And this is why this is going to take off. I don't look at the monthly on everything, but this is why this is about to take off. Look at this monthly candle last month that did break all-time highs at one point. This thing is about to hit 80K before we know it. Let's go to the weekly. If this thing even closes anywhere bullish without a wick, I mean, I'm talking 80K is going to come so quick. Freaking crazy. Okay, let's see. So what I want to see happen is I need to see this start to continue to go like crazy, kind of, because we currently do have a hair of divergence going on, but this is a lagging indicator, so it's going to lag this. If this continues to continue up like this, this is going to eventually match that. It just will. But if in a couple days there isn't any, if there's still some divergence, then we might be kind of reaching a top for a little bit. But this right here is just a beautiful break. Good momentum. I love that. I remember back a couple of, was it last week? Yeah, I said when this breaks, this is going, it took off. So yeah. Don't try to short it. This is one of the most volatile asset classes in the world. So it's got volume backing this move up. So this thing is just gone, y'all. It is so gone. We'll update whenever there might be an entry for it. It'll be something like this whenever it stops. But man, it is just straight up gizon. Let's see what these look like. Not as crazy, but you can see it was last week's call. Right off the 61.8. That was perfect. It's going to be the same thing. Same thing. This thing is gone. It's going to just continue up. Oh, wow. Litecoin had a great day. So, oh boy. Yeah, this thing. These will be good. All these ones that are making these really crazy moves will be good ones to look for fibs on pullbacks. Big momentum, pullback, look for move up. Not so much on XRP, but it still has a little bit of, move, possible move. But yeah, that was it. I don't really love how the dollar looks. I'm not going to be probably putting a whole lot of risk on these dollar plays. Here's one on EU that I will be interested in if it gets there, but it might take 2 days. It might take a little bit. Here's a setup on GU, but I'm not really interested in. I'm not loving the way the dollar looks, so I don't really love any of these setups. UJ, let this continue to drop and then look for pullbacks. That is something I'm probably going to keep an eye on, just because you can see how hard this is trending. EG though, this is definitely one I'm going to keep my eye on. Lower time frame pullback sells, higher time frame continuing this little trend that we got going on here. GJ opposite, literally GJ's opposite. GA, let it stop, pull back, let it keep going. So in my head, what I'm kind of thinking is if I want GA to pull back and go, that means AU might continue up and then drop. So if I can get AU to make one more kind of move up, I will probably look for sales on AU. Gold, I'm not really interested in it unless it does some fake out stuff. NASDAQ in indices, I'm waiting for a quick move down, then in a break of structure, but it needs to do that. These are just gone. So just feel the FOMO if you didn't ever invest in those. So. All right. I never looked at the chat, but is okay. Yeah. All right. Is there any other pairs that anyone wants me to look at? Let's see what happened on this. Oh, it went up and then it ended up coming back down. This looks like a good buy, but I'm not buying it. That's Wyckoff. Was there some AUD moves? No, just kind of dropping as expected. Is it going up? All right, y'all. I'm gonna head out. See what tomorrow has. There's a couple of good setups, so we'll see what we got going. Y'all have a good one. Peace out. Oh, do we have any suggestions? Sorry, we do have a suggestion. Cats, JP1. Let me check. Let me do top down real quick. Okay, came into this area, took out these highs. Could be correcting like UJ. Looks like it is. Yeah, looks like it's in a nice little downtrend correction mode right now. It has some divergence to it, so it could start to pull back up. But with the way it's looking, I would, if you're in, if you're in any buys, you might want to, depending on what you leverage, stop loss probably should have been right here. So it could just continue lower. but there's also a very good amount of divergence. Let me just do one thing real quick. It might turn around soon, but it also might just continue going. It's in this correction mode, so regardless of what it does, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be very slow, probably, and just choppy because it's just in a correction. But it is in the bottom of the channel with bullish divergence, so it's in a nice little reversal zone. It has a possibility of reversing, but with the way it's moving right now, I don't like. I gotta see some type of reversal patterns. To be 100% certain, you would need to see this high get taken out. You need to see a test like this to be certain. Because the structure is just bearish, 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 bearish. And if the lower time frame structure is super bearish, then you really hopefully aren't looking for buys yet. So, all right, is there any other pairs that I want me to look at that I don't trade? Nice. Let's see GCAD real quick. Oh, GCAD with a nice little pop out. I never trade this pair, but this has a good little fib play on it. Oh yeah, this looks like a cold setup. Back into this area, that looks like a pretty good setup actually. It's a little ugly downtrend correction, but all right, that's it, guys. I gotta go. I appreciate y'all for coming on. You have a good one. Peace.